The 2005 to 2010 game show Wowowee is one of ABS-CBN's most successful and famous favorite game shows of all time, which is known to give prizes for those who are impoverished or in the lower class. But despite the success and the fame of this show before it closed down in 2010, it also has a tragedy of its own. That tragedy, which we are going to discuss in today's vlog, is the Wowowee Stampede, officially PhilSports Complex Stampede. Hello and welcome to Trivia Time, stories and fun facts with MultiJames95. If you're new to my channel, please click the subscribe button and notification bell to get updated on content and trivias like this. What are we waiting for? Come on, let's go take a look at our episode for today. Today's topic, Wowowee Stampede. The incident was an infamous event that happened on February 4, 2006 at the PhilSports Complex, then known as University of Life Training and Recreational Arena, or ULTRA, wherein it resulted in 73 casualties. The stampede that occurred during the first anniversary celebration of the 2005 to 2010 ABS-CBN game show Wowowee is also deemed as an unsolved case and was titled by the Guinness World Records as the greatest death toll in a game show. The first anniversary of the show had dozens of prizes awaiting to be offered, such as jeepneys, taxi and business franchises, house and lots, brand new cars, and a top prize of 1 million Philippine pesos. It was to be staged at the PhilSports Complex, with the basketball stadium, known as PhilSports Arena, to act as the main staging area, while the neighboring football stadium, or the PhilSports Stadium, would serve as a viewing area with screens to accommodate those who cannot enter the basketball stadium. There were two gates, one each for a venue. The St. Martin Gate led to the main staging area, while the Javier Street Gate, called as Lower Rate Pedestrian Gate or LRP Gate, led to the football stadium. On the eve of February 4, 2006, an estimated number of 30,000 people gathered and camped outside the PhilSports Complex for the first anniversary of Wowowee, which is to stage the show in the venue at 1 p.m. the same day. This number was 6 times larger than the usual 5,000 who attended the show's recordings at the ABS-CBN studios. The crowds of people range from lower middle class to mostly lower class who hail from the poorest parts of Metro Manila and nearby provinces, many of whom were either generally jobless or working low-paying jobs and were attracted by the show's promise of instant wealth. By the break of dawn, the show's organizers began handing out tickets to the crowd. Sometime later, a commotion arose. According to the investigation by Task Force ULTRA, the commotion began when an organizer announced that only the first 300 people in the line would be allowed to participate in the pera o bayong, literally money or basket, segment of the show, which offered a prize of 10,000 to 50,000 pesos. This was said to have excited the crowd and caused others to be agitated, which resulted in pushing and shoving to get ahead of the queue, hoping to be among the first 300. A similar testimony was given by a survivor named Mirna Book, whose 4-year-old daughter Apple perished in the incident. The mother and child camped out the night before to await the chance to get a ticket and noticed many people endured heat, sweat, hunger, and sleeplessness to win the said prizes. By daybreak, they cut ahead of the line, but this was not bothersome to the people already in queue, as they must have noticed the 4-year-old Apple, which made them think that they should let families with little children and elderly people ahead of them. But as people in front of the line and near the LRP gates were granted access to the football stadium, the crowds became more impatient and started pushing forward and shoving, prompting security guards to panic and shut the entrance gates in order to control the crowd. Witnesses and several survivors stated that the stampede began when the already impatient crowd continued pushing and shoving, causing one of the barriers used to keep people in queue to collapse. Coincidentally, the LRP gates happened to be on a sloped driveway, and when security guards tried to seal the gates further and calm the mob, the latter continued pushing and shoving as well as shaking the gates until they were forced open. As the gates eventually gave way, people at the front collapsed from exhaustion while others behind them stumbled. The uneven incline of the sloped driveway contributed to the worsening of the stampede. Book stated that as they neared 3 meters to the LRP gate, the crowd began surging and she carried Apple, wherein they managed to cling to one of the posts that supported a steel canopy shading the walkway in order not to get caught in the crowd. A couple who broke away from the mob tried to make her let go of the pole, wherein she told the two that she had a child in her arms, but her pleas fell to deaf ears. As they managed to loosen her grip, they and some men who escaped the crowd took Apple to the top of the canopy to avoid the surge. In turn, they attempted to take Myrna on top too, but the sudden surge caused the rescuers to lose their balance. Apple jumped from the canopy and she was crushed by the crowd. In the aftermath, 71 or 73 were killed while hundreds were injured. The majority of the victims were female in gender and elderly people. Most of the injuries were not serious and many were treated and released. The cause of the stampede is still unknown. While Task Force Ultra already gave an official statement on their investigation, some survivors added new statements that in order for the others to enter, some rowdy crowd members shouted false bomb threats and other sorts of false alarms, which worsened the situation. News reports by foreign media like BBC, ABC, CNN, and so many more also theorized the legitimacy of these false alarms, but the authorities denied them due to lack of evidence. Task Force Ultra had also stated that besides the uneven incline of the driveway, the impatience of the crowd, and the organizers' actions, it was also implied that there was no coordination between the network and the authorities, which also contributed to the chaos. As a result of the tragedy, the network temporarily canceled the show and indefinitely postponed the anniversary presentation. The sitting ABS-CBN CEO during the incident, Eugenio Lopez III, promised to provide aid and financial assistance to the victims and their families. The network also formed 71 Dreams Foundation to assist with the relatives of the victims. In the aftermath, the sitting pope during the time of the incident, Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, expressed sorrow over the incident and offered prayers for those affected, even dedicating a mass to the victims. Simultaneously, the hosts, producers, and the director of Wowowee's rival variety show on GMA Network, Eat Bulaga, offered a minute of silence and prayers for the victims of the stampede before they started the show. They also did the same thing on the first anniversary of the disaster in the year 2007. ABS-CBN later thanked their rival network for their prayers and sympathies. On the second anniversary of the show, coincided with the first anniversary of the disaster, Wowowee offered its last segment as a candlelight vigil in memory of those who were killed in the incident. Willie Revillame gave a short statement, and the show ended with Yeng Constantino singing her original song, Hawak Kamay. Were no lessons learned from this tragic event? The truth of this case may never be known. Yo, MultiJames95 fam, thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you wish to donate or support MultiJames95, the links to Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me a Coffee are in the description. And please check out our next videos. I hope you will like it. See ya!